We're good to go. Thank you, Jane, for helping and meeting people. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining the webinar today, which is all about managing stress at work. I'm Ilaria, and I'm the Onboarding Customer Success Manager here at Nursebuddy, and I will be your host for the day. I'm really excited to see we have so many caregivers with us because this is what this talk is for. This is the third webinar in our series, which we're designed specifically for frontliners. And we're pleased to welcome back Ellen Gruber from Pastora, who you may remember from our fantastic webinar on resilience just a few months ago. Ellen has a long background in social care. She started out as a carer, working in elderly care and with adults with learning disabilities. She then became a registered manager in 2006, before working as an operations support manager in services that required improvement. Ellen stepped away from care at the end of 2021, and she's been focusing since on her own well-being and development as a coach and trainer. She recently set up Pastora with her business partner, Marilyn Rickson, and together they're helping care and management teams with guidance and support to look after themselves and others, and to do that with grace. A very warm welcome to Ellen. So for today's webinar, we'll have a short presentation from Ellen, followed by questions at the end. If you want to ask a question, we'll be using the Q&A function here in Google Meet. Click on the activities icon, which you can find on the bottom right of your screen. It looks like 3 shapes, and then choose Q&A. You can type your questions in there, and we'll try to get to as many of them as possible. Just a reminder that we're recording this webinar, so we send you a link afterward. I think we're all set, so over to you, Ellen.
Thank you, Ilaria. Hello, thank you for joining me today. As you know, as Ilaria said, there's a reactions button and we can't see you today. So if you are watching live, it'd be great if you could use the reaction button and send me a thumbs up or a smiley face, just to let me know you're there and you are listening. That would be really good. Thank you, that's wonderful. And as Ilaria said, please put your questions in and we'll answer some afterwards. So today I'm talking about what is stress. So what is stress? Stress is a natural response to a challenging or threatening situation. Most of us tend to think of stress being in our brain, but it's a whole body experience. Stress switches our nervous system to high alert and it negatively impacts our bodies when we don't deal with it in a timely manner. Stress gives us physical, emotional, and cognitive reactions. But also remember, stress is not always negative. It can keep us safe. It can motivate us and improve our performance. So in the last few weeks, the Olympics has been on. Even if you're not watching it, you probably heard about it. And all the athletes face significant stress. But it's a powerful motivator, pushing them to perform at their best. So short bursts of stress can be and are often positive. So there's 2 types of stress. There's acute stress, which is short-term and immediate response. So for example, in care, when there's a severe medical episode, such as a heart attack or a fall with a serious injury, you may not realise that you have some of these reactions when this occurs because you might think you're calm in a crisis, but your body will be responding. You have natural physical reactions such as an adrenaline surge, increased heart rate, sweaty palms, rapid breathing. Your blood pumps around your body as well to get you ready to take action. So way back, before we had all the different things we have in life now, it would get you ready to run away from the lion that was chasing you. For us in care, it gets us ready to take action in a crisis. So emotional reactions, you can have fear for the patient's well-being, intense anxiety or panic, sometimes urgency and heightened focus as well. And be really concentrating on how to support that person. Your cognitive reactions will be quick decision making, rapid assessment of the situation, a clear immediate focus on emergency protocols. So you can take action to resolve what's going on. Once the situation is stabilised, either through successful intervention or arrival of the emergency services, your acute stress response begins to subside. You gradually return to a calmer state as the immediate threat is resolved. So acute stress in care work is often triggered by unexpected, high-pressure situations that demand quick and effective responses. But it diminishes once the crisis is managed. The other type of stress is chronic stress, long-term persistent stress. Continuous care of a terminally ill patient over an extended period of time, alongside all the other people you're caring for and the usual day-to-day life activities you're dealing with, can cause chronic stress. You may experience the following physical reactions. So persistent fatigue and exhaustion, severe headaches or muscle pain, sleep disturbances such as insomnia. The emotional reactions could be constant feelings of anxiety or sadness, emotional numbness or detachment, chronic worry about the person you're supporting and how you support them. You may have difficulty concentrating, memory problems, and negative thoughts about the future, as well as being irritable at times. Unlike acute stress, chronic stress persists over time and may require significant lifestyle changes and professional intervention. Counselling, a support group, coaching, and reassessment of work life to mitigate ongoing stress. Chronic stress stems from enduring high stress situations without adequate relief or support, leading to long-term physical, emotional, and cognitive impairment. But what we need to remember as well is that stress isn't simply feeling busy or having a lot to do. It's more than just the demands of everyday life. It's not the occasional worry or nervousness that comes with challenging tasks. It's a persistent state of emotional or physical tension that occurs when demands exceed our ability to cope. It's not a sign of weakness or something that can be easily brushed off. So understanding that stress is a serious response to ongoing pressure is key to addressing and managing it effectively. So what is the impact of stress on you? So the immediate effects of stress can be increased heart rate, muscle tension, headaches, irritability, anxiety, mood swings, difficulty concentrating, and memory problems. Long-term effects can be more serious, things like hypertension, cardiovascular disease, weakened immune system, chronic anxiety, depression, and burnout. It affects the people around you as well, because it can lead to misunderstanding and conflicts and a negative atmosphere as well, because you're not your usual self. On the services that you provide, there can be less productivity and efficiency, increased sickness levels and turnover, and lower job satisfaction and morale. So in care work, there's many causes of stress for you. So there's many things that you need to be aware of and find ways to manage them. So specific causes of stress for care work is caring for individuals with chronic illnesses, disabilities, or end-of-life conditions. It can be emotionally draining. You form close bonds with people we support and we witness their struggles, and that can lead to compassion fatigue and emotional exhaustion. Many of you face a high volume of tasks within limited timeframes. This includes everything from personal care and medical assistance to household chores and administrative duties, leading to physical and mental exhaustion. The nature of home care work can also mean long hours, alone with clients, And that increases your feeling of stress as well. You might not feel that you have the support you need with you at the time. Irregular hours, including night shifts and on-call duties, can also disrupt your sleep patterns and personal life, and can be hard to plan ahead. You also may be supporting clients with complex medical or behavioural needs, and that requires specialised skills or extra patience, adding to the stress and the pressure. Managing the emotional toll of caregiving while also balancing personal life and responsibilities can be stressful and needs you to manage it in a way that works for you. I spoke about the physical, emotional, and cognitive reactions of acute and chronic stress, so you can understand and recognise how stress impacts you. So I ask you to regularly take a moment to consider how you feel. Are you affected by chronic stress? Are you feeling fatigue, frequent illnesses, feeling overwhelmed, frequent mood swings, changes in your eating, your sleeping, withdrawing from activities, and also changing how you respond to different situations? And how are you caring for yourself? We don't always recognise these things in a timely manner. I'm an example of that. Back in 2016, I spent months of feeling fatigued, feeling unwell, having various viruses, being under quite a lot of stress, both personally and at work. But I ignored it. I kept pushing it aside and going, oh, everything will be all right. Tomorrow will be a better day. And just kept going until, unfortunately, I passed out at work. And that was the time for me to have to stop. I'd burnt out and I needed to take some time to really look after myself. So it's really important for us to understand stress and the impact of stress so that we don't end up burnt out. And there's many ways that you can do this to help yourself, many things you can do to help yourself to release stress and reduce the impact of stress on yourself. So this physical activity is really good for you. Regular exercise really helps reduce tension. There's lots of evidence about how movement can support you to release stress. That doesn't have to be going for a 5-mile run, just movement. Walking, dancing, shaking, jumping, anything. Just lying down and tensing different parts of your body and releasing them one at a time can really help release tension too. Relaxation. I know, as carers, you're busy running around doing lots of things and you often forget to take a moment and relax. There's things like meditation you can do, and that doesn't have to mean sitting on the floor cross-legged for half an hour, staring into space or looking at your eyelids. You can do really short meditations. There's lots of apps and lots of things out there that you can follow. Just taking a moment and breathing really helps too. You can just stop, take a few deep breaths, and that can help relax your body. Considering what you're eating is really important as well. Actually eating as well, you know, having your breakfast, your lunch, drinking plenty of water, and making sure that you have those breaks to nourish and hydrate yourself as well. And then thinking about how you prioritize tasks. Prioritizing what is most important and how you do that, and making sure you have plenty of breaks in between doing each of your tasks. So you can stop and take a moment and consider how you're feeling and what you might need to do. You may need professional help as well. Counselling, coaching or therapy can help. And one other thing that I find is really important is actually supporting other people. So supporting others can really help us to feel better. When we listen to other people's problems, it often helps us to put ours into perspective. It gives us an idea of what we can do for ourselves as well. You know, just chatting to a colleague who understands what you're going through can be really, really helpful, or they can share what they're going through or how they changed what was happening, and it can give us inspiration and ideas. And how we speak to ourselves as well. Are you kind to yourself? If we spoke to ourselves as we would our best friend, we'd be more understanding and come up with ways to manage our stress too. So be kind. Think about what you say about yourself and how you speak to yourself, because the likelihood is you wouldn't speak to your friends, family, or the people you care for like that. You know, we're really good at putting ourselves down when things are challenging for us, but actually changing how we talk to ourselves and how we feel about what's going on and how we respond to it can really, really help. So understanding stress and its impacts is crucial. Recognizing the signs and taking proactive measures. Supporting yourself and others in managing and reducing stress for a healthier, more productive life. And you can do this by setting boundaries and prioritizing your personal time, building strong social and professional support, and developing coping skills and stress management techniques. So today, if you just take a couple of things away from this session, that would be to stop, take a moment, see how you feel, and maybe try one of the techniques. Just one. Don't try and do everything to support you manage your stress. Just try one thing and just do it regularly for a period of time and see how it feels and see if it helps you. Because, you know, you might decide, oh, I'm going to do some meditation, and you do it once and think, oh, I didn't like that. That didn't work. But actually, we need to try things for a longer period of time just to see if they do work or if we're resisting them as well. So I hope today was helpful for you and gave you some good information about stress and how to manage it. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Ellen. I really like that you shared your experience with us and how you gave us tools to understand if we're suffering from chronic stress, and that, you know, stress cannot always be a negative thing. You can also use it to keep us safe and improve performance. So thank you for that. And maybe I'll try jumping or dancing next time that I feel stressed. So thank you for sharing that. I wanted to encourage everyone to ask questions. So please use the Q&A section. It's on the bottom right of the Google Meet under activities. It looks like 3 shapes. So there is some time for you now to ask your questions. But in the meantime, Helen, if I may, I would like to ask, how can carers get their managers to support them with some of the things you just suggested?
Okay, great question. Thank you. So I would say that obviously communication is really, really key, but it's how you communicate as well. You know, I was a manager in care and I was dealing with my own stresses as well. So if you're coming and talking to me, going, I need this, I need that, I don't like this, and I don't like that, then I'm going to automatically have a bit of a negative reaction, really, because I'm going to be like, oh, okay, they're having a go at me, I'm doing something wrong. What's my answer to that? So I would say I would approach your manager in a way of, can I have a chat? Can we talk about things? Hopefully you have regular chats with your managers anyway, but, you know, take your time to really talk to them about what you're feeling and what's going on for you. To really consider talking about yourself specifically as well. Because the other thing I used to find difficult was the person that talks the most would come and talk to me and say, we think this, 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 and this. And it'll be like, okay, who thinks that? Who needs that support? So I'd really recommend that you speak for yourself and be really clear about how you feel and what's going on for you. And also, if you've got any ideas on how your manager can support you as well, that's really, really helpful. Going along with some answers can be really helpful. And the manager can be like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's look at how we can do that.
Thank you, Ellen. And something else I wanted to ask. So of course it can vary, but how long can it take to someone in order to start noticing a change or improvement when they put into practice some of the things that you've talked to us about?
So it's different for all of us, for sure. But things like, just taking a moment and taking a few deep breaths, you will feel an instant change in your body. So like I said, just trying one thing and doing it regularly, you will start to see a difference with a lot of things quite quickly. Like you were saying about having a dance, just having a dance and shaking off how you're feeling can change how you feel quite quickly. So yeah, doing small things can make a difference quite quickly. But if you've been under chronic stress for a long time, again, be kind to yourself. It takes time. And it takes trying things as well, and trying different things, but not all in one go.
Yeah. A question as well. So what do you do if your manager seems quite stressed too and you don't want to be a burden to them?
Managers are often stressed, just like you are as carers. And unfortunately, that is the way of care quite often. Like I said before, maybe what you need to do is take a moment and just say, can we plan a chat? Just say to them, I need 5 minutes of your time, 10 minutes of your time, and plan that with them. And just be really clear that it's something that you need and that you want, and that you're willing to wait for it as well. Because that's the thing, sometimes, if everyone's phoning their manager up, one after the other, with problem after problem or concern after concern and everything, they are going to be stressed, and that's normal. And no, I don't think any manager wants to be negative in their response. But if you've just picked up call after call after call and you're getting negative feedback all the time, then you will find it stressful. So actually planning a time to talk to them can be really helpful, because then they can be present and ready to have a conversation with you and listen to you.
Right. What would you say if you feel that the manager may not be so open to kind of hearing that kind of feedback? Do you think there are any other ways that you could communicate to the managers how you're feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Email is one way of doing it. That's another way. Sometimes we find it easier that way as well. Sometimes writing down how we feel can be easier for us, because we can write it, we can step away, come back to it, reread it, and look at how it sounds as well. So that can be helpful too, is to do that. But I would always say, even if you write to your manager and tell them how you feel, I would always suggest that you then say, this is what I need to share with you, but can we talk about it at some point? Because I think it's really important for you to actually talk to each other as well, and be really clear about what you need, what both parties need as well, and how you can support each other.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Okay, great. So actually a great question we have is, how can you kind of try to manage your stress if you're with a service user? For example, they may say something rude to you, or you feel that because you're taking aside that time, you cannot perform your tasks. Okay, so in the moment when you're with someone that you're supporting, when you're with a service user, it's a bit of that count to 10 moment. It's that bit of being able to just stop for a moment and take a breath. And if you can, be able to step away, like change what's going on if you can. It might be like you say, oh, should we have a cup of tea? And you can step away and put the kettle on and take a moment away from that person. I understand that you can't always do that. So often what we have to do is we have to notice what we felt and what's going on for us. And sometimes we just have to, what I say is, put it in a box and put it to one side, but always come back to it later. Don't just let that box sit to one side and ignore those feelings. How you feel is really important and it matters. But I also understand that sometimes you can't deal with them straight away, but don't let them build up, because if you let them build up, that's what causes more problems. Does that help? I think it does, and I think it's really valuable advice. So thank you for sharing all those tips with us. If there is any final tip that you feel sharing with us, please do. But it was extremely helpful and insightful. So thank you, Ellen.
Thank you. Like I said, please be kind to yourself and care for yourself.
Great. Well, thank you again, Ellen, for all your advice. It's been great, and I definitely can use a lot of the tips you shared to better manage stress. If you'd like to know more about Ellen's training and coaching, you can go to pastora.co.uk. You can reach out to them if you're looking for some support with the well-being of your care team. So thank you, everyone, for joining, and have a great rest of your day.